Ladies and gentlemen, say it with me now. Let's go! The Vancouver Canucks and Patrik Allvin. Let's go! Let's go! Teddy Blueger yesterday. Ilya Mikheyev yesterday. Dakota Joshua today. GM Patrik Allvin announces that the Vancouver Canucks have agreed to terms with forward Dakota Joshua on a 4-year contract with a $3.25 million AAV. Now, in isolation, you can say that $3.25 million is a really, really big increase. And yeah, it is. The guy was making under $1 million last year. $3.25 million certainly is not terribly cheap. But for a player like Dakota Joshua, who brings everything that he brings, you know what? It's hard to argue against this contract. It really is. This is an amazing, amazing keep for the Vancouver Canucks, keeping him around for 4 more years. Let's go, baby. 4 more years! 4 more years. He's getting a second term here with the Vancouver Canucks. That is amazing. Whole bunch of the replies. Hell yeah. AFP's going out there. We're going to look at this a little bit later, so we'll save that in another tab. This is a pretty good deal. And look, I will say there's another thing. Remember when Benning basically gave the same contract to Jay Beagle? That was good times. Yeah, Jay Canada. Big shout out over to him. I actually saw him at, where was it, BCIT? Yeah, it was, yeah. He was a guest speaker at one of my lectures one day. That was interesting. Big blast of the past there for me. But Patrik Allvin announcing that Dakota Joshua is sticking around. Let's go out there and read the article. It's on the Vancouver Canucks website. Canucks agree to terms with forward Dakota Joshua on a 4-year contract. Vancouver Canucks GM Patrik Allvin announced today the club has agreed to this contract, 4 years, $3.25 million AAV. Dakota had a strong season for us and took some big steps forward in his game, said Allvin. We really like his size, his speed, and physicality. He fit in well with our system and the way we want to play hockey, and I look forward to watching him to continue to develop under our coaching staff. Joshua, 28, appeared in 63 games for the Canucks this season, tallying 32 points, 18 goals, and 14 assists, 60 penalty minutes, and a +19 plus-minus rating. His goal, assist, and point totals all set new career highs, having previously been set during the 22-23 season. The 6'3", 206-pound forward has played 184 career regular season NHL games split between the Canucks and the Blues, recording 64 points, 143 penalty minutes, and a +6 plus-minus rating. He also has appeared in 14 postseason games, recording 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists, and, of course, 10 penalty minutes, and a +1 plus-minus rating. Prior to his time in the NHL, the Dearborn, Michigan native spent 4 years at the Ohio State Buckeyes University team, recording 100 points across 128 career games, and helping the Buckeyes capture the Big Ten Conference regular season championship in 2018-19. He was originally selected by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 5th round, 128th overall in the 2014 NHL Draft. So that's pretty holistic. It goes over his entire profile pretty much. But if you wanted to go over to just the numbers themselves, go over to Elite Prospects and read up on some of this here. Dakota Joshua is signed on till 2027, 2028. That's amazing, man. That sounds amazing. 28 years old, 6'3", 205, left-handed guy. And after the season he had, there really is no doubt in bringing him back. I will say the only concern that I have personally for Dakota Joshua is consistency, because there were moments throughout, I'd say, the beginning of this season and pretty much towards the end of last season where Joshua was not his best. He wasn't the best player on the ice possible. For 63 total games, there were some lulls in there, but when Dakota Joshua is on his game, which I would say is like 80%, 85% even of the games that he plays, he is just an absolute menace. He can score goals in tight, he goes through the legs, he provides really fancy spin moves, and he can just do work offensively. Rick Tocchet said it, man, at the beginning of the season. Dakota Joshua doesn't even know how good Dakota Joshua can be. And at his absolute peak, we saw offensive creativity, we saw physicality, we saw high pace, we saw board play, we saw two-way stability, we saw immense chemistry with Connor Garland. These guys played so well together, and reuniting that line. Yesterday, they signed Teddy Blueger. Today, they have Dakota Joshua. And of course, they still have Connor Garland under contract. Solidifying this third line is going to be fantastic for the team heading into the next few years. Blueger signed a 2-year deal. Dakota Joshua signed a 4-year deal. So this is going to be great. He's 28 years old. So the Canucks are signing him pretty much throughout the prime years of Dakota Joshua, and who knows if this season that he had 32 points in 63 games played is actually the beginning of his prime. If he's able to get 40 points as a third liner next year while providing the extra stuff, the physicality and the intangibles that he brings, this could be an amazing contract. $3.25 million a year on a deal for a guy who can do everything. Look, I get it. You can be a little bit wary about the Jay Beagles and the Antoine Roussels and how these guys were given money like that back in the day. But I will say, Jay Beagle was a face-off winning, two-way minded center. Dakota Joshua has so much more than what Jay Beagle was able to provide. And there's an intensity to Dakota Joshua's game that Beagle did not have, in my opinion. Now, let's go out there and take a look at the AFP analytics just to look at where everything is going over here. Just as expected, they say, this is a fair contract for both sides. Joshua is a real solid third-line winger, the type of player you want in the playoffs. So, according to the way that he had played, his projected contract was about $3.264 million a year. The actual contract that he was given was $3.25, 4 years and 4 years. So, pretty much, the Vancouver Canucks, Emily Castonguay, Patrik Allvin, they gave Joshua the pinnacle contract that he would have been worth. No more, no less. Actually, just a tad less by about, what is that? $14,000? Not $140,000, $14,000. So, Dakota Joshua really did just get the pristine dollar amount for the services that he had provided. Comparable contracts, you've got Justin Abdelkader, Brandon Tanev, Yoel Armia, Marcus Foligno, Jordan Martinook. Honestly, I'd take Dakota Joshua on my team than any of these guys, even in any of these other guys' primes, especially Justin Abdelkader. 7-year contract, $4.25 million a year. That's a lot. Brandon Tanev, alright, yeah, he's fine. Joel Armia, same thing, but really, Dakota Joshua is the prize here. Super happy to see this get done. Patrik Allvin is cooking ahead of the 2024 NHL Entry Draft, that in which we will stream for tomorrow. So, if you want to hang out with us for a few hours while the first round picks get made, then tune in. You're very welcome. The Vancouver Canucks do not have a pick in the first round, which I have no doubt will kind of impact our viewership. And, it usually happens where after, the picks of the teams that I'm most favorable to, that's when the viewership drops off. I'm expecting the viewers in tomorrow's stream to drop off after Montreal 5 and after Detroit 15. It always happens like that, but either way, we'll still be streaming for the first round, and you can help us out by tuning in. Canucks don't have a pick, but we can still talk about the Canucks. And moves like this one. Dakota Joshua getting signed to a 4-year contract extension, $3.25 million AAV. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.